Well, in recent weeks, both Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates have announced plans that would change the working environments for expatriates. Saudi Arabia is considering a change in its labor law that gives more control to employees, while the UAE is set to relax a number of laws that impact living standards. Jacob Greaves reports.
Right now in Saudi Arabia, foreign workers can't switch jobs or even leave the country without their employer's permission. But Riyadh says that's going to change, with plans to ease contractual restrictions in a bid to lure more talent to the country. Meanwhile, in the UAE, conservative Islamic laws are set to be overturned, allowing expats to drink alcohol without a licence and unmarried couples to live together.
It's no coincidence that we're seeing these measures announced now, because obviously they reflect the economic challenges that Saudi Arabia and the UAE have faced in the last few years that have been exacerbated by COVID, and a realisation that the private sector has to flourish, and that part of that story is going to be obviously expats living here, being happy living here, wanting to stay, and obviously foreign direct investment into the country.
The changes in the UAE are also expected to include tougher punishment for honour killings, whilst divorce or inheritance will be settled by an expat's home nation's law rather than local Sharia courts. It comes amid warnings from the IMF that the UAE economy could shrink by 6.6% this year, and amid concern of an expat exodus, a grouping that makes up over 85% of the population here.
Some prominent Emiratis have gone on record as saying that they might expect to see the population shrink by, almost double-digit levels this year. We wouldn't necessarily think it's that extreme.
For the more conservative Saudi Arabia, the labour law changes could be comprehensive, giving more power to employees to choose their job and, as a result, incentivising companies to improve working conditions.
You move away from your traditional labor-intensive, low-wage, low-skilled, semi-skilled business models that have been very dominant in the region, mainly, but in Saudi also a lot. The fact that the workers retain now the ability to make their own choices and pursue better employment opportunities is going to change the dynamics of the relationship between the employer and the worker totally.
But these changes won't begin until March 2021. Even then, they're largely bringing Saudi Arabia up to speed with other Gulf countries such as Bahrain and the UAE. The region relies on a low-income migrant workforce in sectors such as construction. Rights groups have consistently raised concern about their treatment, particularly amid the financial impact of COVID-19.
The degree that these moves improve Saudi Arabia's reputation on this front and also attract new workers to the country depends in large part on how these changes are implemented in practice. There are still a number of informal methods that can be used to take advantage of vulnerable workers. This happens in Saudi Arabia, in the Gulf, and indeed across the globe.
For the Gulf's two largest economies, a legacy of COVID-19 could also be improved conditions for foreign workers. Jacob Greaves, CGTN in Dubai.